This year, there are 94 days of summer, June 20th to September 22nd to be exact. Now, what if in that time you could transform your life to the point where it's never the same again? What if you could radically improve your health, or your relationships, or your wealth? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to do exactly that. We're gonna begin by walking through 3 principles that will guide our mindset, that'll give us a roadmap, if you will. And then we're gonna walk through a framework, a simple structure I created for how you can maximize your 94 days. So let's begin. Principle number 1 is to create a max impact list. Over the next 94 days, what actions could you take that would drastically improve your life? What are the things that you've been putting off? Have you been putting off starting that business, or calling that friend or family member, hitting the gym, getting your diet in order?
You hit like a vegetarian.
Cutting out alcohol. What are the things that you've been putting off? What I want you to focus on are 2 key things. The first is not adding things to your list that make you feel busy, but what would actually make a difference? What's really gonna move the needle in your life? The second thing that I want you to think about is to value action over learning. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because learning itself can be procrastination. We know there are certain things we need to get done, but we're reading a book instead. Or we know there's a project we need to start or a task we need to complete, but instead we're watching a YouTube video, how to transform your life over a summer. And so I want you to avoid productive procrastination. Instead, focus on learning on the job, learning through the actions that you're taking, and supplement with reading and the other forms of learning that you enjoy. But primarily reserve those supplements for the late afternoon or the evening of your day after you've completed your highest priority items. Moving on to the second principle, it is to stop idolizing your best self. This term is thrown around a lot. Hey, I'm trying to be my best self. I'm working to become my best self. I'm living my best life, whatever you're saying. And the way that it's commonly used, I can't help but think that we treat our best self as though it's some mythical creature. It's like this person or this thing that is far reaching. We can reach for it, but we can never quite grasp it. We can never truly become that person or that best version of ourselves. But what I'm encouraging you to do with this principle is to stop idolizing your best self. Stop putting it on this pedestal and acting as though it's this rarefied thing. In reality, I believe that your best self is simply you doing all of what you already know, have, and can do. You're maximizing your opportunities. You're maximizing the capitals that are afforded to you. Your health, your time, your money, your relationships. You're maximizing all of it. That is your best self. And as you continue to learn and grow and develop, your best will get better. But to really lock this in, here are a few questions you can consistently ask yourself, and keep this at the forefront of your mind. If you were your best self in an instant, right now, right in this moment, what would your posture be like? How would you speak? Would you procrastinate? How would you treat people? Would you be fearful? And when you're asking yourself these questions consistently, you can snap to attention and realize, whoa, all right, I'm my best self in this moment. And embody that. Embody whatever vision you have of what that looks like, and be that person right now, right in this moment. Don't look at your best self as this far off thing. Simply start by doing all of what you already know are the right things to do. Moving on to the final principle. Principle number 3 is to elevate your standards. One thing that I was thinking about recently that I would encourage you to reflect on as well is just how much our external world is simply a reflection of our internal standards and expectations. This thought came to my mind because last week I was on vacation in the Caribbean with my family. And on the last day, before we all went to the airport, we stopped to get a quick bite, get some lunch at this little seafood shack. It was along the marina that was recommended to us. And we walk into the restaurant. It's a little low-key place. You can see the water beneath the gaps in the floorboards, a little chill spot. But we take our seats, and as soon as the waitress walks up to greet us, can already tell she doesn't really want to be there. And I start looking around at all the staff, and everyone's just dragging their feet, a little disheveled, just nobody really wants to be there. Now, the restaurant wasn't busy at all. You had a couple people just chilling out, having a couple drinks, but for the most part, it was pretty lax. But waitress takes our order, and it ends up taking nearly an hour for us to get our food. So this is lunchtime. Now, fast forward hours later, turns out our flight got canceled. We couldn't get back to the States. So thankfully, the airline gave us vouchers to stay at a 5-star resort that night. So we hop on the shuttle, head over to the resort. We get there. It's a beautiful experience. You walk in, you see the marble floors, you get in your room, you got your robe, you got your slippers. It's great. Now, when we get settled, I ordered room service for us at 9 o'clock at night. Yes, sir, it'll be right up to you in 40 minutes. It came in 25 minutes, standards. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Devin, obviously you're gonna get a better experience at a 5-star resort versus a little seafood shack along the marina. But the point I wanna get across to you is that standards come before outcomes. So why do people stay at a 5-star resort? Because of standards. Firstly, because of the standards they have for themselves, but also because they're willing to pay a premium for a luxury experience, for heightened standards, for faster service, for better quality service. And the same holds true for us as individuals. You want a certain outcome or a result, but what's your standard in that area of life? You want a certain outcome with your health. You want to get ripped up. You want to get some abs. You want to, build up some muscle. Okay, what's your standard for your health? Maybe you want to achieve financial freedom. What do your actions and your habits suggest is your standard? And tying in with this point, there's a scripture that I want to share with you from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Yet another key thing that holds us back, that keeps our standards low, is holding on tight to the thinking, the behaviors, and the excuses of our youth. When we're kids, we can get away with a lot of excuses. We might be able to say, that's too hard, or that's uncomfortable, or no, I don't want to be in the spotlight, I don't want to be embarrassed, I don't want to be criticized. But when we're adults, they're no longer valid excuses. If you have a goal, if you have something that you need to accomplish, let's go, let's do it, let's get it done. The level of difficulty or ease should not be the determining factor of whether or not you decide to do something. Yeah, I know early mornings it can be difficult to go to the gym, but do you need to do it? If you need to do it, it needs to get done. And it's not only about the excuses, but also I think we hold on to trivial things that really don't even matter. Like, for instance, I can think back to several years ago, especially in college, I used to have debate endlessly with my friends. Who's the GOAT? LeBron, MJ. Maybe for you, you're saying Messi, Ronaldo. I don't know. Who is it? And you go back and forth for minutes or hours on end, and you're throwing out all these stats and opinions. But as I've matured, I realized that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Maybe to those gentlemen, shout out to them, but not you, not your friends, and certainly not your family. So as we wrap up this principle, I would encourage you to do an audit of what you're investing your time into. What are the types of conversations that you find yourself in? And if they're not productive, if they're not fruitful, if they don't actually improve your life or the life of your loved ones, then set them aside. Let's walk upright as men, as adults, and elevate our personal standards. So in wrapping up our 3 principles, let's now transition to the final step, which is outlining the framework for maximizing your 94 days of summer. In the description, I've included an example, a template, if you will, for how you can structure your 94 days. So feel free to utilize that or tweak it to your liking. But in any case, what's the simple approach that we're taking? We're taking a sprint approach. Across the 94 days, you're gonna do roughly 3 sprints that will last about 20 days apiece. And these sprints are about focus, unadulterated focus. All gas, no breaks, giving your absolute best. Now, once you wrap up a sprint, that is followed by a week to 10 days of rest, reflection, and planning. Now, you might be asking, why this approach? Well, I'm recommending this approach because I think that we have this idea of balance, of work-life balance, that term that's thrown around a lot. We have it a little bit confused because ultimately when you're focused, you're imbalanced. And when you're balanced, you're unfocused. So when you're trying to achieve your goals, you're trying to radically transform your life, you have to expand the time horizon that it takes to achieve balance. Because many people try to achieve balance in a single day. You might wake up at a reasonable hour, go to the gym even, have a productive day at work, but then in the evening, you're just watching TV for hours, you're eating junk food, and in the long haul, that's not really gonna get you anywhere. So instead, what I'm encouraging you to think about and put into play is to achieve balance over a longer period of time. You might achieve balance in the grand scheme of 6 months or a year. Everything balances out in terms of work and play, but you have to have those intense periods of focus. So in any case, be intense and be present with whatever you're doing, work or play. If you're working, work. Don't multitask, don't be scrolling on your phone, work. But when you're playing, when you're enjoying life, when you're spending time with your loved ones, be there. Don't be on your phone. Be present. Create new memories, new experiences, and enjoy. So lastly, what this looks like in practice is when you're gearing up for a sprint, you're going to refer back to your max impact list that you created earlier, and you're going to transfer your highest priority items to complete during that sprint. But along with that, set an overarching goal. What's the theme of this sprint? What is this sprint all about? And then at the end of your sprint, recharge your batteries, enjoy your summer, reflect on your accomplishments, your lessons learned, and plan ahead for the next sprint. That is the blueprint for how to transform your life. So whether you're watching this before the summer or in the middle of the winter, apply these same principles right now. Don't delay. Don't wait for the perfect circumstances, perfect situation. Get started right away. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and comment below your response to this two-part question. What is one area of your life that you want to improve? And how will you raise your standards in that area starting today? I wish you much success, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay blessed by the best. Take care.